Well, the legal tampering window is officially open in the NFL, but that didn't stop some blockbuster moves over the weekend and a couple of monster extensions. The Seahawks are set to send DK Metcalf to the Steelers, where he'll sign a deal, making him one of the highest paid receivers in the entire league. Speaking of money, though, how about Josh Allen and the Bills agreeing on a record-breaking contract and Myles Garrett becoming the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. Now, we're going to grade some of these moves happening today, though, with our own Pete Prisco and Douzable. And, guys, we go ahead and begin with Chris Godwin, who is headed back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Leger, what do you give this grade?
I gave it a B- just because the ascension and growth of Jaylen McMillan. I thought that Chris Godwin would maybe price tag himself out of this deal. And also, he is only 28, but he is coming off the injury. So I think it's a really good signing. I didn't give it an A just because the money that was allocated to him. Again, they have some young players that are willing to step up and could be part of the future for the Bucs. But it's a good signing. I don't think it's a great signing.
I gave it a B+.
Okay.
Look, I think getting a veteran back in that offense is important to them because he's such a good guy around that team. Yeah. Baker Mayfield loves him. It gives him a three-receiver group that's probably as good as any or close to it. With the way I feel about McMillan, I think he's going to be a star. So you add this group together, you can run the ball, the offensive line. You look at Barton's going to be that much better, a year better. I think Mark at right guard is going to be a year better. Their young players are getting better. This offense has the makings of being one of those that can go up and down the field. And I think this adds to it. It makes sense. He wanted to be there. I give it a B+.
My question mark is another player that's ascending for them, K. Dodden. He really came on strong when Chris Godwin got hurt. How does this potentially affect him?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's going to catch the ball in the middle of the field as well. I think all those guys, look, you can never have enough weapons. And they felt like getting Barton last year kind of fixed their offensive line. Now they have Bredesen as a left tackle. I mean, the left guard is an unrestricted free agent, so they have to decide what they're going to do there. But I think
extended them.
They are extended.
Yeah.
So they extend them so that their line is set now. So they're good across the board.
Well, the Buccaneers were busy early on today. Another addition, Hassan Reddick, headed to Tampa Bay, reported 1 year, $14 million deal. You're only giving this move a C+ here, Pete. Why isn't it higher?
Well, because of what happened last year, in large part. He's not a kid anymore. And so, yeah, look, when a guy doesn't want to play, there's that kind of, look, I get it. It never works out. Did it work out for him last year? No. And so there's always that kind of red flag for me. That's why. If he comes in, he's focused, he realizes, look, this is a one-year deal. I can go prove myself and go get a bigger contract next year. Then I think it could be good for the Bucs. But I think there's a little bit of risk there for them in this one.
Yeah, I believe I gave it a B-. I think there's some synergy between him and Todd Bowles. Let's not forget, going back to when he was with the Arizona Cardinals, Bowles was the defensive coordinator, and people were wondering what Hassan Reddick was. Was he an off-the-ball linebacker? Was he an edge guy? Well, Bowles made him an edge guy, and he had a career year, and then he went on to have a career year back-to-back-to-back years. So that was kind of the beginning of his ascension. Now, to Pete's point, right, he's in his 30s now, missed most of last year. You worry about him getting older and missing that much time of football. Does it affect him going forward? But this is a one-year proof deal, so Hassan Reddick can prove that he can go out there and still be effective at getting after the quarterback and maybe get a re-up after this year.
You know what's great about it, though? It gives them a fourth guy. Now you have Yaya Diaby, you have Hassan Reddick, you have Vita Vea, and you have Kalijah Cansey on the middle. That's a four. You can go after the quarter. You know, Todd Bowles is crazy with a lot of the blitzes he does, but sometimes you might not need to do that as much if you can get pressure with those four.
Let's stick here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before we get to some of our other grades. What more do they need? What are some of the other needs for the Bucs here as you kind of look for more free agency, of course, of the draft, as they look to really make a deep run in the playoffs?
They have to get another corner, and I think they'd like to get another playmaking safety to go with Winfield in the back end.
I was going to say the secondary has to stay healthy, and they do need at least one more corner.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the Bears now, who go ahead and pick up Drew Dalman. You are both kind of on the same page with this, giving it a B grade. You a B-, though.
Yeah, and it's to what we talked about earlier, Pete, does the scheme actually fit the player? Right now, again, Ben Johnson's one of the smartest offensive coordinators in all of football, and I'm sure schematically he'll get it to work. But just looking at his history with the Detroit Lions, this is more of a G scheme. And when I say G scheme, they like to run counters, power, downhill, physical run game. And Drew Dalman, his best asset is that he's quick, right? He can get off the line of scrimmage and get to the second level and get to linebackers in a zone scheme. So that's my only concern with it. I believe Ben Johnson will make it work. And there was a precipice on making sure he had a physical offensive line. That's why that interior three is different from what it was last year, because he wants to win these ball games in the trenches.
Yeah, when he was with the Lions, he had Ragnow, was a physical center. Dalman is not that. And so, you know, how is he going to respond when you put a big nose on him? I mean, that's the key right there. Can he move him in the run game? And if he can't, because he's one of those guys, like you said, you play in his own scheme, you get off him, you get to the next level. When you've got a man on your nose in the power game, you got to handle that guy. So that's why we kind of both agree that it's a little bit of a downgrade. I mean, it's not a downgrade. They had to do it. They had to get. He's the top center on the market. It's just how are they going to make it fit in their scheme?
Scheme-wise, yeah.
All right, we'll see if that grade gets boosted a little bit as we look to next season. Let's get to the Chiefs here, who go ahead and pick up a crucial piece of their offensive line in Jaylen Moore. You're giving this a B as well.
Because they have to address that position, and I think this will kind of get them going in two spots, because I think, moving Sumatia inside the left guard, that becomes a power side of that line. It's a big physical side, something the Chiefs haven't had over there. Tooney's been a really good player, but you had never really had that good left tackle over there since Orlando Brown back in the day.
Yeah.
So I think they solidify their offensive line, and the biggest concern now is right tackle. And so it's still a major concern, but it's a better offensive line. It'll allow Patrick Mahomes to stand in the pocket more. He got sped up last year, and that was a problem for him.
This single position of left tackle cost him the Super Bowl last year, because Josh Sweat had his way with Joe Tooney, who was out of position. He's an all-pro guard, and they slid him out to left tackle. So getting a guy like Jaylen Moore, who has high upside, who, again, was a swing tackle, and last year was his first year truly starting. You talk about the upside of him, getting him at $15 million a year. You think they would hopefully develop him. Now, they have struggled with development with Wanye Morris and Kingsley at left tackle. It hasn't worked out for them. Both of them were second-round picks. Hasn't worked out. But Jaylen Moore, as much as he played last year because Trent Williams was hurt, you would hope his ascending talent kicks in, and I believe the Chiefs feel like his best football is in front of him.
I love moving tackles that don't make it or aren't fast enough to quick enough to handle into guard. You look at the history of this league, some of the best guards have been tackles who have moved inside. And I think, you look at that, and I think this is a good move from that standpoint for the Chiefs. Tooney was one, by the way.
This is true. We'll go ahead and leave our grades there. Reminder, you can catch all of the latest NFL news, highlights, all the latest scores. It's all here, and it's all free. CBS Sports HQ.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.